Welcome to the Flybubble Paragliding channel.
We are free flight experts and equipment specialists helping you get the best flying experience.
The Advance IOTA DLS flew today at the Devil's Dyke. So first thing I noticed is that the launching of the IOTA DLS is easy. It came up very nicely. And
When you say easy, what do you mean?
it responded well to the inputs. It came up very nicely. It had good feedback, so I could feel what was going on. The brake travel, I noticed that everything just felt quite precise straight away. I think I could feel with the risers and the sort of the brake lengths straight away, feeling like maybe a little on the slightly longer side, but in that nice comfortable position. So when you're flying, you don't feel like your hands are kind of having to be up here.
It wasn't like gun in the back, hands in the air.
So
and it wasn't gorilla hands down here either.
So
it was that in between.
It was just right, just here, that nice sort of sweet spot. Not super light, but just sort of light, but with actually preciseness.
You mean the brake pressure?
The brake pressure.
Yeah, I found it also was light to moderate, a bit more on the light side.
But the precision of it. My launch was into rising air straight away, which was quite nice. So as I glided out, I was just generally in sort of lifting air, and then when I got to a safer point to be able to do sort of first sort of 360, it turned well and progressively, but in a nice positive way. And
you feel like you've got kind of a sharpness and precision.
Yes.
That's what I felt like. It's kind of, you can feel quite precisely how much brake input you're putting in.
Yeah.
It hasn't got sort of the brake, even though it's light, it's not soft and mushy. It's quite precise feeling.
Yes. I totally agree with that. Yeah, precise.
By the way, I'm flying the size 25. I've been flying, and Nancy, which size are you flying?
23.
23.
Yeah.
And
And
we're both flying them loaded at about 3/4 of the way up their weight range.
yeah, good place in the way, and we're both on our lightness 3s today as well, so good advanced combo. The thermaling, managed to get in quite a few good turns to really get that sort of feeling of the wing.
Oh, I used the speed system, and very, very light, actually surprisingly light. One of the lightest speed systems I felt in a while. It's even arguably about the lightest speed system I felt. That was my first impression. So the speed system on the IOTA DLS, as I said, was very light and felt very effective. The glider kept very solid.
Yes.
All the way through, right through the speed travel. Actually, the 2 flights I've had have both been in a bit windy, gusty, not very smooth conditions. The glider felt very taut and solid, right across the whole sail. That's something that I felt was very noticeable about it. It didn't feel kind of planky. Still, I was getting good feeling from it. Yeah, the feedback feels like it's moderate to slightly on the higher side. Not dampened and not very high feedback.
Certainly not twitchy, and it's certainly not planky. Definitely not. It's not the two extremes. It seems to be just in that nice sweet spot of giving you the good feedback, feeling like you've got the wing. Especially in like you say, the slightly snotty conditions that we were having as well. It felt like it
felt very comfortable.
Yeah,
it felt very comfortable, but not dampened.
Yeah, responding well. It's precise. The glider started to go up very nicely, and felt very confident with it straight away, really. It didn't feel hugely demanding. Actually, the last few wings I've been flying recently have been more sort of like a mid-B and then the super high A's. So actually getting back onto a high B could have been a bit more demanding, a bit more sort of, I need to pay attention, but it didn't feel like that. It felt like I had, I've got this. The wing feels responsive, it's talking to me, but not in a chatty kind of, whoa, everything's going on, too much information. Despite the air being a bit crappy. I think it was cutting through that air quite nicely.
That's exactly the same I felt on it, that when the pitch felt like it's quite stable in pitch, but not in a kind of sort of planky, not moving way. You could feel what was happening, but it was cutting through the gusts and the foam that was just there.
The usual very high quality advanced risers. You've got mayons, you've got magnets for the brake handles, and the usual speed to fly on the back of the risers as well. So all just the nice attention to detail that you get.
Compared to its predecessor, the IOTA 2,
which we flew a lot on.
Yes, we did fly a lot. See our review on the IOTA 2 and flights in Colombia and other things like that. So my feeling is that the IOTA DLS, it's just tricky to describe, but I'd say it just feels a little softer, a little smoother. I still, by the way, the IOTA 2 I still think is a fantastic glider. But my feeling is the IOTA DLS, this is just from these quick first impressions, that the pilot demands are slightly lower and it feels slightly more comfortable in turbulent, but it feels to me still related. It's like the difference between the Sigma 10 and the Sigma 11, and to me the IOTA DLS feels quite related to the Sigma 11. No surprise. We need to fly them more again to check that, but you can feel they feel related, and it's a similar kind of feeling, a very sort of precise feeling, nice handling and good feedback, but comfortable for the class, quite relaxing in some ways.
Yes, yeah. We've got to go and have lunch now. Nancy's getting hungry.
We hope you've enjoyed this, and hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, tell all your friends about us, and we'll see you in the next one.
See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.